gonna get out of the way.
Oh,
I know.
yes.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Chance Williford. I'm the city administrator. I work for the council. I work directly under the mayor and the city council, and when whatever policies the city council makes, it's my job to convert them into reality. Y'all are here for our city council meeting, and there are agendas. Unfortunately, we didn't print out quite enough agendas for everyone. But the way that this is going to work is that we're going to open up. There's going to be a Pledge of Allegiance and all that stuff, and then there's going to be a prayer. And then there's going to be a period of time where I provide briefs to the council. I'm going to be giving them information. I'm going to be providing all the information that I can as neutrally as I can so that the council is informed on the decisions that they have to make. After the brief, there will be a period of citizen comment. Now, I know a lot of y'all are probably here for the hearing about the property where the stamp plan is. I'm sure that a lot of you are here for the hearing about the rezoning of Windmill Ridge. Everyone will have an opportunity to speak if they want to. There will be a hearing at the end of this meeting to let everyone get up and say their piece. The area in the middle of the meeting is for all the other stuff. So if you have any topic you have a question about the agenda, you have a question about something that isn't on the agenda that you want to hear about later, that's not related to the hearings, at that time, that would be the best time to get up and speak. If you want to talk about the hearing items, that'll be during the hearing. Okay? Are there any questions for me before we begin? I'm really pleased to see so many people here. Good. All right.
Welcome. Did everybody sign in? And if you did want to speak, fill out a card and pass it up here. Okay. All right. Then it is 6:01, and so I will call to order this regular meeting of the Paradise City Council. Can I get a roll call, please?
John Ward, present.
Matthew Whitten, present.
Amanda Black here.
Paul Fox, present. Cody Anderson here.
All right, we do have a quorum. Let's all stand for the pledges. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Coach, would you lead us in our prayer, please, sir?
Father God, we come to you this evening. We just ask for your blessing upon this meeting, upon this council, upon the citizens of Paradise. We ask that you just give us your wisdom to act on the business tonight, Lord, and we'll give you thanks. In Christ's name, amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. Look at all the faces out in the crowd. If you can stay after the meeting, I'd love to meet you. I haven't met you already. I know some of you. All right, Mr. Williford, take it away.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Beginning as always with our important dates. You see that we have multiple special events coming up in the coming month. The 1st of September is Labor Day. We have the Paradise School District Homecoming on the 15th of September, the Main Street Festival on the 27th of September, and then Columbus Day on the 13th. Also included in our important dates, I've gone ahead and put together this slide that lists out all of the different dates related to our November elections. So on July 19th, we already had the opening, the file for place on the ballot for the November election. Today, on the consent agenda, we have scheduled to go ahead and order the actual formal election. On August 18th, that's the last day to file for a place on the ballot, but people can still file for a write-in candidacy up until August 22nd. The 25th is the last day for a candidate to withdraw a package that they have already submitted. On the 25th, the city will do the ballot draw, which is they put all the names in a cup and they pull randomly the names from the jar to decide what order the names are going to go on the actual ballot. Early voting is from October 20th through the 31st. The election day itself is on the 4th. The election results will be canvassed on November 10th. And whoever is elected will be sworn in on November 24th.
And as we know where the early voting and election day voting locations are, those will be posted on the website and out front door.
Ma'am?
Continue.
We have plenty of briefs today. Real quick run through them. We have an introduction with the Boyd Police Department. We have an introduction of our new financial advisor. We have a brief over the proposed Encore electricity delivery rate change. I have a brief for you regarding the USDA loan that we've been offered. I have a brief regarding the municipal court items that we have for approval, including failure to appear and scofflaw. I have our required Q3 financial update. And then I have the briefs for the two rezoning cases. First for the Brian Turner request and second for the Windmill Ridge development. Are there any questions before we begin? All right. So back in May, the City Council approved an interlocal agreement with the City of Boyd for police services. We're taking a two-pronged approach with police services here at the City of Paradise. One of those prongs is the county sheriff and the sheriff's deputies who are going to be in our communities. The other part of that pronged approach is the Boyd Police Department. So the agreement that we have with Boyd right now is that they will come in and provide at least 1 hour a week of police services. Any citations that they might happen to submit will be processed through the New Fairview Municipal Court. The New Fairview Municipal Court is ready to begin receiving cases. And so the Boyd Police Services are slated to begin on the 1st of August. And I would like to go ahead and introduce you to the Boyd Police Chief. Sir, would you mind coming up?
Before you get started, I want to remind you that, I know you might be wondering, why are we only doing 1 hour a week with Boyd? We needed to have municipal police services in order to become a court of record, required by state law. So we couldn't just have the sheriff's deputy. We had to also have some sort of municipal police department work for us, and so that's why Boyd is helping us out with our hour to fulfill that requirement so we can have a court of record. So please, sir.
Hi, good evening. I'm Mike Kenny. I'm the police chief from Boyd PD. I just started about 2 months and a week ago, so I am new to this, but I'm aware of the agreement that we spoke about. I've met with the city manager, and so I'm here really to answer any questions. Additionally, my assistant chief is Ryan Irwin, who's standing here in the back. So he's been involved. He's up to speed on the requirement and the services that we're going to provide to y'all. So if there's any questions, I guess, outside of this brief, I'm here to accept those, talk about them.
The hour starts when you get in city limits, correct?
So August 1st is the beginning, and I know that it's going to be new to people to see us out here, which is
It's
good and bad, right?
Why am I getting pulled over by Boyd?
So we want folks to get used to seeing us out here, and of course, I imagine, we'll try to go the route of, hey, we're out here now, so let's make sure we're doing the right thing, and then after a while, we'll probably address it a little bit more different than that. If something egregious happens during the beginning of this, we'll have to address that, of course, but we know there's a break in time, and we want people to get used to seeing us out here, and we just don't want to come in here and wreak havoc and cause any problems for y'all, but we will address situations as they unfold. Yes, sir.
vehicles that are on the road that are not licensed or do not four-wheelers that I see a bunch, not most of the time in the evening, whatever, driving down the roads, just like, they're a car, but they're not a car. They don't have a license on it. They don't have any state inspection sticker on it.
Right.
I think he's speaking to four-wheelers and stuff.
Yes.
Sure, like quad runners and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Not only quad runners, the ones that have
Mules and side-by-sides.
mules and side-by-sides.
Yeah, so if you look at the transportation code, it specifies what can be on the road and what cannot be on the road. I know like these smaller electrical carts and vehicles like that, some cities have opted to go with the city ordinance to adopt the usage of those in some areas, maybe in the smaller parts of town. But the transportation code specifies what can be on the road and what cannot be on the road, unless there's a city ordinance or something like that. We would address
It's a state code that.
State transportation.
Yeah, transportation code is what I'm speaking about, sir. So we would follow the transportation code. That would, yes.
On the way over here tonight, I saw a child on one of those vehicles. I almost didn't, I couldn't see him because he was behind the weeds coming around the corner. Children.
That's something that we're more than happy to address for you all. And another thing that a lot of people don't know is one of the things that a municipal police agency can do for your city, whereas the sheriff's office can't, is we can enforce your city ordinances that your council adopts.
So I understand the concern. We have the same problem. We're pretty similar. We see the same things too. So we had a discussion, I think I could share that, about there were some folks that wanted that the city wanted to allow those vehicles. I am against that personally. I'm just speaking on behalf of where I'm at. For those obviously, especially kids out there on there, they're not supposed to be on the road. They're going to help drive. You have to pay attention to things. And so we see the danger in that. So we opted to not let mules and side-by-sides and stuff like that on the city streets because the transportation code doesn't support it. And in my opinion, it's not a safe practice either. And I don't think it's a good idea to do that. But that's y'all's business here with the city council. If you all decided that was something that you adopted, then we would understand that. And we're just here to enforce the rules and ordinances that y'all decide upon, whether we have an opinion that's different or not.
I made a note that we'll bring that back around and we'll talk about it. All right?
So basically, you're just gonna be enforcing all the traffic laws and.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
City ordinances.
Speeding, everything.
Main Street.
Definitely speeding up and down Main Street.
So I've heard that. That's been shared with me. I was out here doing an off-duty job when I spoke to you. Like, I hope you all do something out here on Main Street.
Main Street, Schoolhouse, Old Town, 114. Anybody else want to chime in? Go ahead and start.
Yeah, go ahead, please share that.
All of them. 3259.
Yeah.
And we got a long list of them.
Yes.
Okay?
Cool.
All right, thank you. It's nice to meet you.
Great, thanks y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Any questions before we move on? Thank you. The next item that we have is the introduction of our new city financial advisor. At the last meeting, the council selected Government Capital Securities to represent us as the city financial advisor. It's important for us to have a financial advisor because they look out for our interests when we deal with large financial decisions up to and including debt issuances to make sure that we don't get taken advantage of. And so I'd like to go ahead and invite Mr. Drew Whittington up. Come and introduce himself.
How y'all doing? I'm Drew, Government Capital. That's Drew like Drew Barrymore, Nancy Drew, Drew Carey, whatever you want to call it. Thank y'all for laughing at that, by the way. Laugh at my name. No, just kidding. Okay, so I brought some fun stuff for y'all. And hopefully I won't throw it at anybody right now. Thank you. You also laugh at that. I appreciate that. So we are the financial advisor for y'all. You'll hear me also interchange the same word for municipal advisor because y'all are a municipality. And so because we're money, you have dollar bills and pins. And if you squeeze this little thing, the squishy thing, it actually money comes out. You've already got one. There you go, there's that, and then I'll grab you another one. So with that being said, I want to say thank y'all for letting me come out here and visit. We've been around since '92. We've done all types of financing for everybody. And there you go. I still got you. So that's who we are, Government Capital. Yeah, no money?
No, I can't.
So sorry. Oh, I got the wrong badge. And by the way, if you use our pen, it's a blue ink pen. If anybody is a blue ink pen fanatic, which are great, if you use our pen, money comes out as well. I'm kidding, joking. For the recording, that was a joke. So with that being said, just want to bring up something to y'all's attention. We're also municipal advisors or financial advisors for a bunch of different municipalities and cities and counties and schools all across the state of Texas. And with that, we are also financial advisors for private schools and other things of that, universities, private entities, 501c3, if you will. One of the things I wanted to bring to y'all's attention is one of the things that we can do and set up, and we can go into more detail later, but it's something to actually help bring income into the city so that y'all can actually do some projects on the horizon. Is this called conduit financing? I'm gonna give you a really shortened version of it. Y'all have heard of Baylor University? Yes, down in Waco. Sorry if anybody went there. So what they do is they borrow money at a really low interest rate to build their projects. Because you can imagine Baylor University projects are not small, they're rather large. I'm giving that as an example. That's not one of our clients. But what we do is we actually pair private schools, musical things, hospital districts that are private. We pair them with our other municipal entities, such as City of Paradise. If you know where City of Italy is, I don't mean...
Italy.
Thank you. I was going to say, Italy, if you don't know where that is, it's Italy, Texas, or Italy, Texas. That's another example of the ones that we work with. Newark, Sanger, that's another couple of two that we work with. And what we actually do is we have these private schools that want to do projects. And what they do is they actually borrow money using the tax ID number of your city. And what ends up happening is there is nothing on the city. Literally, there is nothing to the city. And it's even in the agreement that there is nothing against you that happens. Basically, what they're doing is they're paying you to borrow your tax ID number to borrow money at a much lower interest rate. And what y'all do in response to that is you get cash. Usually it's between $10,000 and $15,000 to use for any type of projects. It's got to be public projects. It can be everything from hiring someone to do something to doing a small project around town. So with that being said, just wanted to bring that up to you. That's an idea, something that we can do. We usually say 1 to 3 projects a year is what we'd be bringing to you. What you would do is you would set up real quick, you would set up it's a higher education facility corporation. Basically, that group looks around at a deal and says, yes, this is a good deal. We recommend going forward with it. They bring it to council. Council says, yes, that's a good idea, rubber stamp, we're good to go. And then you get your funds about 45, 60 days from there. The reason we bring these
So
to
we
you.
set up that advisory council.
Yeah, we would
We
work
have
with
to
y'all.
recruit for.
Yep. It can be, what's neat about it is it's a really neat facility corporation that helps y'all bring money into the city. And I'll give you an example. Newark did one school district outside of our school, a private school outside of Port Arthur. You know where that is. Another one was Arlington Baptist University we've done recently. So there's just a random one outside of Temple, if I remember right. Example of a school district. It can be anything from a couple of $1 million up to 15, 20 million is these projects that we're doing. And again, it's nothing again, the city is not putting their credit out there. It's literally just saying, hey, we want to use your tax ID number, and everything within the documents say that the city cannot be held liable if that school falls behind on their payments. Literally, it's in the documents itself. We will vet that with your city administrator and also your city attorney, so that way everything is done correctly. But it's just an idea that I wanted to bring forth to y'all as one of our clients, that we select a few handful of these every year to use. So with that being said, do you have any questions on that? I wanted to bring that to y'all's.
What are the downsides of the conduit financing?
So there's only one, and it's not even really a downside, it's a business decision. So, okay, forgive me, I'm gonna get in the weeds really quickly since you asked that question. There's a thing called bank qualified versus non-bank qualified. Really what it boils down to is many, many years ago, banks were loaning money to municipalities to borrow funds. The way they do that is they say, if you and I, Miss Witten, you and I, because we're Whittingtons and Wittens, and we're really close in name, Wittens, yep, okay, there we go, yes, okay, you. I was like, I don't know who I'm talking to. Okay, you're pointing, and I was like, okay, I see the other Witten. Okay, so anyways, okay, Miss Witten, how about that? Okay, so you and I want to go borrow money. The bank's going to do a commercial loan, if you will. It's a much higher interest rate. But if the city comes and borrows money, it's a much lower interest rate. And here's the reason why. If Miss
Russell.
is the bank and she wants to loan me money, me as a commercial loan, she can have that interest, right? She can count that interest as profit. But if she loans money to a municipality like you and I, she can write off what would be the profit against her taxes. So she says, I'm gonna loan it to me, the commercial person, at 6%, but I'm gonna loan it to you, the city, at 4%. She takes that 2% and writes it against her profits. So in other words, that's why tax-exempt issuers, i.e. cities, schools, and counties, borrow money at a much lower interest rate. So many moons ago, a galaxy far, far away, for anybody that knows where that movie, okay, anyways. All right, so with that being said, banks were going across against, or going to the large borrowers. Think City of Dallas, City of Dallas County, excuse me, and loaning money at those. Because think of it, Paradise, Texas, how much money are you going to borrow versus City of Dallas? They're in the billions, yours in maybe the millions, okay? So what they did is they wrote a law many years ago that said, hey, we're going to give you more ability to write off that interest. In other words, we're going to allow you to write off even more interest if you go to smaller issuers. Meaning, hey, City of Paradise is going to get a better interest rate because they're a smaller issuer. And it's per calendar year is what it's described as. So what's called as a bank qualified is basically anything $10 million or under issuing per year is considered a smaller issuer. Now, is the City of Paradise going to issue $10 million this year? Probably not. So the downside, if you will, to ask the question, we as your financial advisor, municipal advisor, we always come to you and say, okay, what is your project going to be this year? Do you have any ideas? Do you want to go forward with a wastewater treatment plant, citywide street project, whatever it is? Yeah, we think it's going to be about this dollar amount. You know what? Then this project that we have coming to you at $10 million is not a good project, i.e. this school, because it would push you over that smaller issuer rate. So the difference between a smaller issuer and a larger issue is about 20 to 30 basis points, meaning like he's on a mower. Sorry. I was like, what am I seeing in my peripheral?
Go for a sandwich.
It's all good. So with that being said, that would be what that is we would need to talk to y'all first before we bring a project to y'all to know what your future is, because we never want to push you over that small issuer rate, because at the end of the day, our job, we have fiduciary duty to you, the city, to put your needs above our own. So that would be the downside of it. In reality, it's like, what's your future plans? And we're gonna work around that. So we may bring you, if you're like, hey, we got a project of $5 million, we only may bring you a $2 million project. So to keep you under that threshold.
Okay.
So did I help answer that question? Okay. Hopefully I didn't talk too long and I didn't get in the weeds too much. Questions, thoughts, shouts of anger from this side, not that side? Okay, that was a joke. Y'all can laugh at that. Okay.
Right, now.
Anyways, I appreciate y'all. If you ever need anything, let me know. I live up in Fort Keller, as I call it, Fort Worth Keller area. So, and our office is in South Lake. So if you ever need anything, I'm here for you.
Great. Have a seat. Don't go anywhere.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, I have a brief from Ms. Sabrina Easley over the Encore rate increase request. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
This
Mayor?
is always confusing to me.
I
so
know,
let's do it again.
Mayor Council Sabrina Easley. I'm area manager with Encore. And again, this year we're coming to you with a opportunity to change the distribution rates. And we have a couple of actions that for council to consider. I know this is going to blow your mind, but one of the recommendations is that council to deny the rate increase. So, and I know you have questions about why that happens, so let me just kind of brief you on that. So City of Paradise has the opportunity to set rates in the city. You are an original jurisdiction city, meaning that you can come in and basically set any electrical rate that you want in the city. What we do though as a company is we have a single rate. It just for accounting measures, I mean, literally there could be 402 individual rates across the state of Texas. So to keep accounting records straight and to keep transparency with all of our cities, we have a single rate. In order to achieve that, with the rate increase, changing of rates, we will appeal all decisions made in those OJ cities to the Public Utility Commission. What that allows then is one case to be held at the commission, and that decision being made by the Public Utility Commission would then set rates across the entire service territory. So it kind of helps to have 402 different rates where, maybe in Paradise you want your distribution rate to be 5.2 cents. Well, Bridgeport may want theirs to be 5.1 cents. And literally it could make that big of a difference. So again, what we are recommending is the action taken by the council is to deny the case that's brought before you. Therefore, Oncor would appeal that decision to the Public Utility Commission, and there would be one case, and the results then would be applied to all of our cities. Make sense? Questions? I know.
Every time I hear it, it's just ridiculous.
Trust me, 36 years of doing this, and I still scratch my head sometimes, but.
Okay.
It is what it is.
The request is to deny.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else Oncor related while I'm up here? Do y'all have any questions or anything I can?
No, we all have come through and done all the tree trimming and the upgrades. There's poles that've been replaced and lines tightened up. Are we about done with everything in town?
We still
I keep
have,
seeing some trucks
In
in there.
town itself, we should be almost, and there's a couple of more things that we're gonna be coming back, a different group of contractors are gonna be coming and changing out some transformers. But that's gonna be the last upgrades that we see here in town for now. We're still working out in the rural areas. They're still changing out some transformers, some poles. We are, and this is all part of our system resiliency plan and our fire mitigation. Of course, as you guys well know, we're identified as a fire mitigation risk area. And so there's a lot of opportunities that we are doing with placing fire mitigation on our poles and trimming trees to help with that as well.
I think that'll be all wrapped up before school starts. Because when this all got started, school was still in session and I heard about it.
I know, you heard about it, I heard about it.
Walking Schoolhouse Road during drop off and pickup, and that's just not good.
I know, hey, but you weren't the only one. We were doing it over in Northwest ISD too, so for all three of those schools. So we were, but that portion should be wrapped up. We should finish up the transformer change outs here. I don't see anything along that particular stretch of road that would be changing out. So it's going to be more like 3259 and back up Oak Street, back up that way. So
All right. Okay, good. If they have to come do anything around the schools,
we will make sure that we are outside of
9 to 3.
Yes,
Or 9 to 2.
we're outside of school pickup and drop off.
Yeah, let's
For sure.
okay.
I think I have gotten that point across to my contractors
Perfect.
at this point. For
Perfect.
sure.
All right, thank you.
All right, Mayor, thank you so much.
Mayor and council, this item appears on the deliberation agenda, at which point y'all will have to decide what to do with this item, whether to deny it, suspend it, or find some third option.
Okay.
Moving on, ma'am?
Moving on.
All right. Getting into the USDA loan offer. This is a complicated situation, and I'm going to take quite a bit of time to explain it. So, back in May of 2022, there was a structural fire at a 2-story residence on North Mesquite, and when the fire truck arrived and they hooked into the hydrant, they drained the tank dry. There wasn't enough water in our storage tank to actually support the firefighting, and the house burned down. A few months after that, the city went ahead and started putting in a process to get some ground storage, to get more water storage within city limits. The way that the city decided to go about doing this is the city decided to put in a grant request with the USDA that would grant some funds to the city that the city could then reinvest into a ground storage tank. Now, currently we only have one storage tank in the entire city, and it's the water tower over there by the school, which is 150,000 gallons. 150,000 gallons is very small, even for a city as small as Paradise. Having only one storage tank is very unusual for a city because it's a single point of failure. So if anything were to go wrong with the water tower, the entire city would lose its surface water. People with wells could still obviously draw on the well, but if you went to go to the tap and turn it on and you were connected to the city system, if the water tower failed, no water would come through. And when you empty the tank, like happened back in 2022, it allows an air void to enter into the pipes, which depressurizes the pipes, allows sediment to enter into the joints of the pipe. Normally, with the water in the tower, it pressurizes the pipes, and the water presses against the cracks, the seams of the system, and prevents dirt from coming in. But if you lose pressure, the entire system depressurizes, the air gets in, the dirt gets in, and you have boil water notices for however long it takes until the water can get cleared out. And so to mitigate all of this, back in 2023, the city started the process of designing a ground storage tank. All right, I'm getting the mouse up here. I know it's difficult to see on the screen. This is Cedar Bend right here.
That's Old Town.
Not Old Town.
Okay. Up here is Tulip Street. And just north of there is the water tower. This circle right here is the ground storage tank that's being discussed. This would be a 250,000 gallon storage tank. It would also have a well, and so if there was ever just a disaster and water was cut off to the city, there would at least be an option to have a well resupply the municipal supply, which currently is not the case. Okay, so there's the plan of where the ground storage tank would go if we were to build it. Now, through the process of applying for the USDA loan, you have to spend money to make the product good enough to be worthy of consideration by the federal government. You can't write it down on a napkin and give it to them. They require, in order to even consider the grant, that you have engineered design and you have gone through all these environmental hoops and you've defined everything. And so we have spent approximately $114,000 so far just getting the package to the finish line so that it could be considered by the USDA. That's how much we're in it for the grant. Now, last month, the city received good and bad news. The bad news is they're not going to offer us a grant. We were qualified, we were eligible to receive the grant. We're small enough, our infrastructure is small enough, our median income is low enough that we were eligible to receive the grant funds. But there are other cities in the state of Texas that have greater need than we do, and so they're the ones that are going to get the grant. We're not getting the grant. Instead of grant funds, they're offering us a loan. This is where the difficulty of our situation comes in. Instead of a grant, we are being offered a $3.9 approximately $million loan. It would be a loan with a 40-year term. We don't know exactly what the interest rate would be, but the USDA tells us for planning purposes to plan on a 3.375% interest rate. Currently, Treasury bonds, notes are trading between 4 and 4.5% based on the length of time you want to keep the bill. And so 3.375 is well below the current market rate for debt issuances. Right now, mortgages are going for between 6.5%, 7%. And so you can see this is an advantaged loan offer. The annual payment on the principal of the loan would be about $178,000. There are other requirements that we would have to meet to accept the loan, which would bring the annual total that we would have to pay to $202,000 approximately. The city does not currently have a $202,000 hole in the budget that could be filled by servicing this loan. Accepting the loan would require the city to find $202,000 a year in order to build this ground storage tank. Which means that through some combination of cutting expenses and raising revenue, we would have to come up with $202,000. There are basically two ways to get that done. There's a whole world of ways to raise money or cut costs. But the two responsible ways to do that would be to modify our existing water rate structure and to consider adopting an interest and sinking tax rate, neither of which are fun or easy to do. I'm going to talk about INS tax rates because I know that a lot of folks aren't familiar with INS tax rates because Paradise doesn't have an INS tax rate. What does INS stand for? It stands for interest in sinking. And so the cities in Texas usually have two tax rates. One of them is the M&O, which stands for maintenance and operations. And the other one stands for interest in sinking, which is the amount of money that's raised to pay off your debt. The vast, vast majority of cities in Wise County, in Texas, but in Wise County as well, have debt that they're currently servicing with an INS tax rate. In fact, Aurora and Paradise are currently the only cities in Wise County that I could find that do not have an INS tax rate. The way this works is, when the city approves its budget and tax rate, it publicizes, it has a hearing for the entire city to come to, where they say, this is going to be our M&O tax rate. Historically, our M&O tax rate has been 0.345. It's been 34.5 cents. That's the way it's been for the records that I have convenient to me in my office. If the city were to adopt debt in order to pay for this project, most likely the city would need to adopt some form of INS tax rate. The tax rate would be adjusted year over year. It would shrink. As the value within the city grows, that butter would be spread over more and more bread, if you understand what I mean. And so right now, the county appraisal district says that we have about $100 million worth of taxable property within city limits. So in order to raise $202,000, it's easy math. We would have to implement an INS tax rate of about 0.19 to raise the money necessary to pay off that loan. However, once the taxable property within the city limits grew to $200 million, then that 0.19 would become 0.95. You understand? And so the broader the tax base became, the smaller the debt payment would become.
Are you sure you said that right? 0.19 to 0.95?
0.09 maybe.
You meant 0.095.
The tax rate will go down as the values go up.
0.095,
More is added to the tax rolls. That rate would decrease because it is only to serve the annual debt payment needed.
Right. I apologize.
Sorry.
Okay, so there's a choice before the council. The decision is not here to be made tonight. This is only a discussion. This is only a brief. I'm going to be asking for council guidance at the end of this brief. Rejecting the loan would involve risks and losses. These infrastructure projects are not getting cheaper. They're just getting more expensive all the time. And the price of debt is growing all the time, and the state is making it harder and harder for cities to do these kinds of projects. And so if the project is not done now, eventually it is likely to need to happen, and whenever that time comes, it would cost more. We have invested about $114,000 into this project already to purchase the opportunity to take this loan. And if we reject the opportunity, then that $114,000 would not, would go away. And then we have the physical dangers that have already been discussed. If we have a single point of failure for water storage, eventually, everything bad that can happen will happen. That water tower is not going to be there forever. In 5 years or 15 or 50, it's going to go away. And at that point, will the city have another point of delivery for its water? And then it comes to fire flow. In 22, a building burned to the ground because they couldn't get the hydrant to produce. Heaven forbid something happened at a more populated building.
And none of the schools have fire suppression. None of the current school buildings inside city limits have fire suppression systems. So if something were to happen on one of those, they're completely dependent on what comes out of that fire hydrant. And 150,000 gallons of water goes real quick through that fire hydrant.
Now, accepting the loan involves costs. Through some combination of means, the city would have to raise the money necessary to pay off that loan. And so that's the bind that the city finds itself in. This is as cheap as it will ever be to build this infrastructure. However, it still is not cheap. So what I'm asking the city now, what I'm asking the council now, is for guidance. If y'all want me to go back to the USDA and say thanks but no thanks, we're not going to pursue this, I can turn it off. I can contact them tomorrow. If the council has some interest in saying what solutions might be for cracking this loan payment nut, if you would let me know the direction that you want me to go, I can prepare some paths forward and bring them forward at future council meetings.
There is a pretty long timetable before we are really obligated to this path. I believe it's, I want to say December next year.
Yes, ma'am.
So, there's time for us to look, have discussions, apply for more grants. I was going to see Congressman Gill on Wednesday on a little powwow he's having, call down the city, do all the things. But right now, this is just what it is right now.
What's the timeline on response to you for the loan here?
I need to provide them with a preliminary notification in September. But we would take the next year to plan, and probably this time next year, when we approve the fiscal year 27 budget, is when we would be talking about actually making any changes.
A hard yes or no. So.
To me, I think we still need to go after some sort of grants, get more money somewhere else.
Yeah, I know.
Is it possible to maybe accept this and still go after more grants and pay the loan back with the grants? If we get any more grants?
You will.
It's possible.
It's unlikely.
Once we borrow the money, it's hard to find grants to repay.
Right.
Okay.
But again,
But it's cart before the horse.
we're gonna look at all different kinds of options. So, okay. Next.
As time goes on, I'll continue to bring information to the council regarding this item. And any guidance that the council has for me, of course, please provide it, and I will shape.
Not the water tower in place, weren't there some major maintenance items that were necessary?
We have annual tank inspections. The city engineer has reviewed the tank inspection from last year. we are not in any immediate danger. Within the next few years, single-digit years, really 5 years, we're looking to recoat the inside of the tank, which will be a challenge for us. It does require maintenance, and it's a lot easier to do maintenance when you can take it offline if you have a backup water source.
Okay. Next.
Can I ask a question?
Mayor, we can wait for public comment, or you can take questions as you wish.
That would be preferable, just so that we can keep going, but citizen comments, it's all you. Just, all right, perfect.
Okay. This is a fairly straightforward item. Y'all know that we have stood up the municipal court with New Fairview, so they are ready to start receiving cases. It's been a few months coming. We're really happy to have reached the point where we are. There are only a couple of items left that we need to approve for the municipal court. Those are the failure to appear program and the scofflaw program. And what these programs are is if someone goes to our municipal court and they fail to pay their citations, they'll get caught when they try to go register their vehicle or get a new driver's license. And so we would just report to the state that this person's delinquent on their items. They'd have a flag in the system. In a year, when they go to register their vehicle, they're not going to be able to because they haven't paid us back. They'll pay us back, and that's how we'll get paid. There are agreements in the stack for the mayor to sign. Do y'all have any questions about those programs? Okay. These items appear on consent. All right, going into our Q3 financial update, I'm required to provide the council with a fiscal year update 4 times each year. So this is our Q3 update. Run you through it real quick. Our general fund operating account, you can see that we ended Q1 at $160,000. We're ending it now at about $200,000. There's always a hump in the year because property taxes are delivered in the beginning part of the year. So you start poor, and then you receive the lump sum, you feel rich, and then you go downhill all the rest of the year until you receive the property tax lump again. Okay, so we are on the down curve, but everything is in line with how it should be with the governmental funds. Then you get into the proprietary funds. These are our water funds, essentially. We are pretty steady and constant. We've gone from a total fund availability of $516,000 at the end of Q1 to about $548,000 now. If you look at our total funds balance, this is not free cash. If you add up all of our assets together, this is what we add up to. At the beginning of the fiscal year, we were at $1.64 million. We are currently up to $1.78 million. Again, you see the hump from Q2 to Q3. Getting into our budget progress. So the top half is the general fund. The bottom half is the water wastewater fund. As you can see, for revenues in the general fund, we have so far collected 88.6% of what we expected on the year. That's good because we're only 75% through the year. And so we are ahead of our projected revenues. The same story with expenditures. We're at 71.6% of expenditures. We would expect to be at 75%. That means we're spending slightly less than we were planning to spend. So we're ahead on revenues, a little bit behind on expenditures, which means our budget's working. Next, we get into the water wastewater fund, and this is particularly true. Instead of 75% for revenues and expenditures, we're at 94.5% of revenues and 58.9% of expenditures. Therefore, we're very healthy. Are there any questions about the quarterly update? All right, ma'am? All right, now we're getting into the hearings that we have today. Now, just a reminder for the group, these are just briefs. After the briefs will come public comment, and then after the public comment will be the actual hearing. So you can take the information that I'm about to give to the council. I'm presenting it as neutrally and as accurately as I know how to do. And if y'all have anything that you want to say, there will be a point in the hearing where you're able to say. Okay. So getting into the rezoning application made by Brian Turner regarding his 105 acres. This is just the verbiage that was on the notification. The request is to take that 105 acres and rezone it from agricultural to I2, which is industrial heavy. In addition to rezoning it to I2, there would also need to be a specific use permit approved that would allow specifically for the mining operation within the industrial zone area. So I have two maps here. I'm going to flicker them back and forth so you can see what's going on. This area here is the property in question. You can see there's a little bit of a sand plant here, and there's another sand plant here, and there's one right here. The city limits run from the north-south side of Thistle Circle, which is just right here, and they go up and down. So there's a line right about here where the city limits divide the property. This sand plant here is outside of city limits. This sand plant here is inside of city limits. Mr. Turner is requesting that this property, this property be rezoned from agricultural to I2. Okay, now I'm going to flip this map back and forth so you can see what's going on. Map 1, map 2. You can see Thistle Circle here. You can see sand plant number 1. You can see sand plant number 2 divided by the city limit. So up, there's a satellite view. Down, there's a site plan suggested by Mr. Turner and his engineers. So what's being suggested by Mr. Turner is that the area be rezoned I2. All of this blue area here would be environmental buffer. And so the foliage, the trees that are already there would stay there. And this area here would be used for industrial work with the mining. He has a few potential roadways to be able to divert traffic back and forth. The traffic would enter and exit along Thistle Circle and turn east onto FM 3259. His ability, Mr. Turner's ability to continue using the sand plant would be contingent upon the council's approval of the specific use permit. And so there are two things at play here. One is industrial zoning. If this land is rezoned industrial, that means it's open to industrial use, and whoever owns that land in the future can use it for industrial use. When it comes to the specific use permit, that's more targeted. The city can put in the specific use permit approved for a period of X years or X months, contingent upon maintenance of natural barrier between industrial uses and neighborhood. They can put specific items like that where you can only keep doing the mining if you meet these 6 things, I don't know, these very specific items on the specific use permit. And so, understand, we are not voting on this today. This is just the hearing. There will be a hearing today. Everyone will have an opportunity to say what they think about this project. There will be a month off. When we meet again in August, the council will get together again, and at that time, the actual vote will take place. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Turner and his colleagues and let him talk about his rezoning request. Sir? Thank you.
Thank you. I've lived here in Paradise for 25 years. My family is from here, and we took over this property from the previous owner and would just like to continue. Obviously, we live here, so we want to be good neighbors. We don't want to cause any issues, but we do want to go to work every day and do what we plan to do. Past that, I appreciate y'all's consideration, and
How wide is that blue buffer?
One of them's 300 feet, the big one there. And then
I guess I can look at the
other
TV closest to me.
150, 150?
So 100, 300, and 105, so probably 100 finished over there. And then that gas pad, how much control do you have over that gas pad operation? That's not yours, right?
the gas pad's not ours.
And you don't have anything to do with that, that's.
Don't have anything to do with that.
Okay. And,
So you plan on just mining that entire thing that's in yellow?
Yes, portions of it. We have gas lines we have to work around, various things we have to work around. The plan would be to leave the trees along the boundaries so that it's not an eyesore.
there's this gray area.
We flew a drone over the site to get more updated aerial imagery,
Uh-huh.
but we couldn't get to that corner when they did it, so we just pulled Google Earth for it.
So it's gray.
Yeah.
No, okay.
It's just a different aerial imagery that we couldn't find the colors on.
I didn't know if that was supposed to delineate something
No,
that
it's-
I didn't know anything about.
It's not.
Okay. Alrighty. Alright, do y'all have any questions?
Are those areas between the blue lines where you intend to mine, or what are they there for?
I believe they're just notating roads.
Yeah, they're just current roads that are.
They're just roads?
Did you have a plan of putting in another road so you had another point of egress outside city limits? I don't know if you can get to 3259 somewhere when you're part of the property that we can't see up here.
That's part of the plan. Do you want to show that slide?
Sorry?
You want to show the
Yeah.
slide she was talking about?
I was asking if there was future plans for another point of egress on this property so that they had somewhere else.
Well, I would have
That
to
would be
defer
nice.
to your site engineer.
Not right now, it's something we could look into or to move forward. The plan you're talking about right now, Brian, is we would reroute access at the current point to go north-south and keep it off this corridor. So that no trucks would go down that road east-west into the site.
Where would they go if they were off Thistle? Where would they go?
Go straight off.
They would just go
Straight to the farm one.
Mayor, could you have the gentleman come up here so I could hear?
That's still Thistle.
Come closer.
Where Thistle turns and kind of runs north-south, that would be the only point of access. So
Which is still,
It's
still Thistle.
it's Thistle, but
Right. Thistle makes the U shape.
right, there would be no traffic to the site going east-west. We would realign the gate to go north-south. You would have to keep it would only be able to come in from eastbound, from the east.
I just want to remind everybody that the hearing will come for now. Let's just keep the questions to the council.
So my question was there a plan to put in a road that allows for egress somewhere off on 3259 and not using Thistle at all?
We have not
No,
looked at that yet because this was just geared toward what's within the city.
Okay.
Anything we did out there would be county permitting.
Well, right.
Or with, if
I
it's
just don't know where you go and if that was possible and the thought for the future.
The only exit right now is down to this.
Right, I know, the only exit right now is Thistle.
Right.
Right, okay.
So currently your trucks go the north and south route out of?
East and west.
Okay, so y'all are using the part that's in city limits?
Yes, and we would go north-south, which is outside of the city limits.
They'd have to realign it because they can't make that turn. But they have a plan to do that part, right?
Yes.
So that you could head out and then head out of town. Okay.
Who maintains that road?
Well, it's our road.
That road is not in the city limits, I don't think.
That lake.
I mean, the Potts, that used to own the Potts property right there. That's out of city limits.
It's like Old Town. It's also this city limit, but so it's
I know the part that
pretty
comes
much ours.
around the curves, that's city limits, but when you get over where Newtons used to live, it's not.
well, not according to this map. It's just outside.
You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
The piece that's east to west is in city limits.
Yes, that one for sure. Yes,
That's what they're currently using.
right. But they already have a plan to realign that exit so that they would switch and use the other
That's
one.
the part that goes in front of that gentleman Wrangler shirt there.
It's Lance's
You're doing that
house.
house right
and,
there.
Yeah.
Right. And they're proposing going the other way after realignment.
How many trucks a day do you figure?
So we're not Arcosa, we're not Martin Marietta.
Okay.
Right now, we're around 20 trucks a day. We had one day last month, it was closer to 30, 35. So, to be able to put our finger on that, it's a little difficult.
And really, this is only controlling the sand pit on the left.
Yes.
So still, with all the other sand pits, you're still using that point of egress regardless. Okay.
When you get to 3259, you go either left or right.
Either left or right, yes.
So this is, I mean, it's agriculture right now, right? Is it-
Yeah.
Right, agricultural zoning.
I
The
believe.
current zoning is agricultural.
That's what it is right now, yeah.
So let's say if we said no, I mean, this is your property, what would you do with it then?
Well,
Because it's an investment, that's what I'm
Right,
looking at.
right. So if you look at the city's future plans, they have plans to put homes there every quarter acre. So at that point, it would be probably close to 800 homes, or 400 to 800 homes put on that there, which would be a lot more traffic than a few trucks every day.
Which we know who is going in now, pretty much, versus just truck drivers, random truck drivers.
Hold on, please. So you'd consider selling it to a developer or developing it as residential?
Once sewer was provided, water was provided,
Right.
which would be for 800 homes, would be a pretty big price tag.
Okay.
Really, our goal is to do what they've been doing with it for the last 3 or 4 years. That's what it's intent with, but if we can't do that, then we'll have to figure out what is next for that.
So you would continue to mine outside city limits and use
Yes.
that point, okay. All right, any other questions?
Are you currently mining one that's in city limits?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been that way for 4 years.
Please wait to the public comments. I know everybody's excited and antsy, so please wait to the public comments.
Asking so that everybody can hear. Yeah, I'm good. I don't have any more questions.
Anybody else? No. All right, thank you, Mr. Turner.
Ma'am?
Next up.
Next, this is just a brief for the rezoning proposed for Windmill Ridge. Windmill Ridge was annexed into city limits on 28 September 2020. Ordinance number 20-144. Our city zoning ordinance says that when a property is annexed into city limits, it should be zoned at the same time that it's annexed. The ordinance does provide for cases where, for whatever reason, a zoning can't happen. It's automatically, temporarily classified as agricultural until permanent zoning is established by the council. Also, the agricultural zoning ordinance says that a dwelling can only be built on agriculturally zoned land if it's on a lot of 2 acres or larger. Okay. We find ourselves in an interesting situation because Windmill Ridge was annexed into city limits back in September of 2020, but it was not zoned. I don't know if it was COVID or something going on between the city and the county clerk, but for whatever reason, Windmill Ridge was not zoned when it was annexed in, and we discovered it last month. So here's a map. We all know where Windmill Ridge is. All of these properties, it's a snarled administrative mess because all of these properties that have already been built and already been sold and already have people living in them are incorrectly zoned. It causes problems with the title company because it's a non-compliant structure within ag zoning. It causes trouble with realtors because you can't price it correctly. It causes all sorts of trouble. And so the item is brought before y'all tonight to have a hearing regarding rezoning the property from agricultural. It is temporarily agricultural per the ordinance, and officially zoning it for the first time as R1, which was always the intended zoning for this area. Does council have any questions for me?
How does this affect the people that are already living there?
Well, they are currently living in ag-zoned property, and they would then be living in R1 zoned property with all of the changes that entails. When it comes to accurate evaluation of their property, when it comes to authorized land uses, when it comes to knowing the standards for accessory structures and for setbacks, all the ambiguity that currently exists would be resolved in the direction of R1. Is there any other questions? Ma'am, the city secretary wonders whether we might have a 5-minute recess for the crowd.
Absolutely. We will recess at 7:06. We'll come back at 7:11.
We're taking a 5-minute break, at which point we'll come back for citizen comment. And then after the citizen comment, will come the actual hearings. There are bathrooms right there. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure which item this one's for. This one is for
The same thing happened in 2002 when they created it. Now, guarantee, that was
Already got